Hello to all my story lovers. Welcome back in Storytime channel. I'm Pallavi reading interesting stories for you. Today I'm reading the book 3000 Stitches written by the great Sudha Murty. Now let's go through it. We set up the Infosys Foundation in 1996. Unfortunately, I knew precious little of how things work in a non profit organization. I knew more about software management, programming, and tackling software bugs. Examinations, mark sheets, and deadline occupied most of my days. The concept behind the foundation was that it must make a difference to the common man, Bahujan Hitai, Bahujan Sukhai. It must provide compassionate aid regardless of caste, creed, language, or religion. As we ponder over the issues before us, malnutrition, education, rural development, self sufficiency, access to medicine, cultural activities, and the revival of the arts, among others. There was one issue that occupied my uppermost thoughts, the Devdasi tradition that was the pervasive throughout India. The word Devdasi means servant of the Lord. Traditionally, Devdasis were musicians and dancers who practiced their crafts in temples to please the gods. They had high status in society. We can see the evidence of in the caves of Badami as well as in the stories like that of the Devdasi Vinapodi, who was very dear to the ruling king of Chalukya dynasty between the 6th and the 7th century in northern Karnataka. The king donated enormous sums of money to temples. However, as time went by, the temples were destroyed and the tradition of Devdasis fell into the wrong hands. Young girls were initially dedicated to the worship and service of a deity or a temple in good faith, but eventually the word Devdasi became synonymous with sex worker. Some were born into the life while others were sacrificed to the temples by their parents due to the various reasons, or simply because they caught a hair infection like the ringworm of the scalp, assumed to be indicative that the girl was destined to be a Devdasi. As I thought about their plight, I recall my visit to the Yellamma Gudda or Renuka temple in the Belgaum district of Karnataka years ago. I remember their green saris and the bangles, the smears of yellow bhandara, a course of turmeric powder, and their thick, long hair as they entered the temple with goddesses' mask, coconuts, neem leaves, and a kalash, that is a metal pot. Why can't I tackle this problem? I wondered. I didn't realize then that I was choosing one of the most difficult tasks for our very first project. With innocence and bubbling enthusiasm, I chose a place in northern Karnataka where the practice was rampant and prostitution was carried on the name of religion. My plan was to talk to the Devdasis and write down their concerns to help me understand their predicament, followed by organizing a few discussions targeted towards solving their problems within a few months. On my first day in the district, I armed myself with a notebook and pen and set out. I dressed simply with no jewelry or bindi. I wore a pair of jeans, t-shirt and a cap. After some time, I found a group of Devdasis sitting below a tree near a temple. They were chatting and removing lice from each other's hair. Without thinking, I went up to them, interrupting their conversation. Namaskaram, Amma. I have come here to help you. Tell me your problems and I will write them down. They must have been discussing something important because the woman gave me a dirty look. They lobbed questions at me with increasing ferocity. Who are you? Did we invite you here? Have you come to write about us? In that case, we don't want to talk to you. Are you an officer or a minister? If we tell you our problems, how will you solve them? Go away. Go back to where you came from. I did not move. In fact, I persisted. I want to help you. Please listen to me. Are you aware that there is a dangerous illness called AIDS that you could be exposed to? There is no cure for. Just go! One of them snapped. I glanced at their faces. They were furious. But I did not leave. Maybe they need a little convincing, I thought. Without warning, one of them stood up, took off her chappal, and threw it at me. Can't you understand simple Kannada? Just get lost. Insulted and humiliated, I felt my tears threatening to spill over. I turned back and fled. Upon returning home with the insult fresh on my mind, I told myself I won't go there again. However, a few days later, it occurred to me that the women were probably upset about something else and that maybe I had simply chosen the wrong time and date to visit them. So, after another week, I went there again. This visit took place during the tomato harvest. The Devdasi women were happily distributing small, oval shaped, bright red tomatoes to each other from the basket kept near them. I approached them and smiled pleasantly. Hello, I have come to meet you again. Please hear me out. I really want to help you. They laugh at me. We don't need your help, but would you like to buy some tomatoes? No, I'm not very fond of tomatoes. What kind of woman are you who doesn't like tomatoes? I attempted to engage them once more. Have you heard of AIDS? You must know that the government is spending a lot of money on increasing awareness about it. Are you government agent? Or maybe you belong to a political party. How much commission are you getting to do this? Come on, tell us. We don't even have a proper hospital in this area. And here you are trying to educate us about a scary disease. We don't need your help. Our goddesses will help us in a difficult times. I stood dumbfounded, struggling to find words. One of the women said decisively, this lady must be the journalist. That's why she has a pen and paper. She'll write about us and make money by exploiting us. Upon hearing this, the others started throwing tomatoes at me. This time, my emotions overpowered me and I started to cry, sobbing. I fled from there once again. I was in despair. Why should I work on this project? Why do they keep insulting me? Where else do the beneficiaries humiliate the person working for their well being? I am not a good fit for this field. Yes, I should resign and go back to my academic career. The foundation can choose a different trustee. When I reached home, I sat down to compose a resignation letter. My father came down the stairs and seeing me busy with my head bent close to the paper, he asked, "What are you writing so frantically?" I narrated the entire episode to him. To my amazement, rather than sympathizing with me, my father chuckled and said, "I didn't know that you were so impractical." I stared at him in anger. He took an ice cream from the fridge and forced me to sit down and eat it. "It will cool your head," he said, and smiled. After a few minutes, he said, "Please remember, prostitution has existed in society since ancient times and has become an integral part of life. It is one of the root problems of all civilizations. Many kings and saints have tried to eliminate it, but now law or punishment has been successful in bringing it down to zero. Not one nation in the world is free of this. Then how can you change the entire system by yourself? You are just an ordinary woman. What you should do is reduce your expectation and lower your goal. For instance, try to help 10 Devdasis leave their profession, rehabilitate them, and show them what it means to lead a normal life. This will guarantee that their children will not follow in their footsteps. Make that your aim, and the day you accomplish it, I will feel very proud knowing that I gave birth to a daughter who helped 10 helpless women make the most difficult transition from being sex workers to independent women. But they threw chappals and tomato at me, kaka. I win petulantly. I always call my father kaka. Actually, you got a promotion today from chappals to tomatoes. If you pursue this and go there a third time, maybe you will get something even better. His jokes brought a reluctant smile to my face. They won't even talk to me. Then how can I work for them? Look at yourself, my father said, dragging me in front of the nearest mirror. You are casually dressed in a t-shirt and pair of jeans and a cap. This may be your style, but the common man and the rural Indian woman like the Devdasi will never connect or identify with you. If you wear a sari, a Mangal Sutra, put on a bindi, and tie your hair, I am sure that they will receive you much better than before. I'll also come with you. An old man like me will be of a great help to you in such an adventure. I protested. I don't want to alter my appearance for their sake. I don't believe in such a superficial changes. Well, if you want to change them, then you have to change yourself first. Change your attitude. Of course, it's your decision in the end. He left me in front of the mirror and walked away. My parents had never thrust their choices or beliefs on me or any of my siblings, whether it was about education, profession, or marriage. They always gave their advice and helped us if we wanted, but I made all the choices. For a few days I was confused. I thought about the skills needed for social work. There was no glamour or money in this profession, and I could not behave like an executive in a corporate house. I required language skills, of which English may not be needed at all. I should be able to sit down on the floor and eat the local food, no matter where I travel for work. I had to listen patiently and most of all, I should love the work I did. What would give me higher satisfaction? Keeping my external appearance that way it was, or the work that I would do? After some introspection, I decided to change my appearance and concentrate completely on the work. Before my next visit, I pulled my hair back, tied it, and adorned with flowers. I wore 200 rupees sari, a big bindi, mangal sutra, and glass bangles. I transformed myself into the Bharatiya Nari, a stereotypical traditional Indian woman, and took my father along with me to meet the Devdasis. This time, when we went there, upon seeing my aged father, they said, Namaste. My father introduced me. This is my daughter, and she is a teacher. She has come here on a holiday. I told her how difficult your lives are. Your children are the reason for your existence, and you want to educate them irrespective of what happens to your health. Am I right? They replied in unison, Yes, sir. Since my daughter is a teacher, she can guide you with your children's education and help them find better jobs. She will give you information about some scholarships which you may not be aware of the and help your kids with it so that your financial burden may be reduced. Is that okay with you? If not, it's alright. She will go to some other village and try to help the people there. Please don't feel pressured. Think about it and get back to us. We will be back in 10 minutes. Grasping my hand tightly, he pulled me a short distance away. Why did you say all that? I asked. You should have first told them about the things like the danger of ads. Don't be foolish. We will tell them about it some other time. If you start with something negative, then nobody will like it. The first introduction should always be positive and bring real hope to the beneficiary. And just like I have promised them, you must help their children get scholarships first. Work on ads later. And why did you tell them I am a teacher, Kaka? I demanded. You could have said I was a social worker. My father offered a calm rebuttal. They consider teaching to be one of the most respectable jobs, and you are a professor, aren't you? I nodded reluctantly, still unsure of his strategy. When we went back, the women were ready to listen. They called me Akka or elder sister in Kannada. So, guys, we will conclude the next part in the next episode. Till then, bye bye.